You're listening to the Valley Labor Report with David Story and Jacob Morrison.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Good
It is
morning.
no longer 2020, the worst year that I've had to go through for a myriad of reasons.
In your short history.
In my short history is now over.
And it's not going to get any better. Let's be real about it.
Well,
do you think 2021 is going to get any better?
I'm hoping.
You think?
I'm hoping. I've got my fingers crossed.
That's something that I want to talk about today.
Well, no, I mean, look.
Let's be realistic.
No, here's what. Look, David, I mean, Joe Biden's in the presidency. Okay, I'm going back to brunch. I don't know about you, but that's what I've been told we should all do. Is we should all just go back to brunch and let Joe,
the great white savior.
That's
the
right.
Great white savior.
Just let our betters in the Democratic Party elite just handle everything, because we don't need to. We don't need to concern ourselves with. Yeah. With our lives, we can just go back to brunch.
We probably should be careful, otherwise somebody might think that we're a Republican radio show.
Well, you know what? Now, since I got on it, have you? I sent this to you the other day. Janet Yellen is Joe Biden's. We weren't even planning to talk about it. We went through the list of things that we were going to talk about. This wasn't even on the thing, but since
I think that makes it for a great show.
There you go.
Unplanned discussion.
So Janet Yellen is currently Joe Biden's. She is the nominee for Treasury Secretary. She was formerly the chairman of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, right? I think that's what it's called. And when her nomination was announced, I was like, I didn't hear anything like bad about her. I didn't really hear any.
No, nobody really came out and attacked her. Yeah, like they have some of the previous.
Right. So I mean, some of them have just been really, really bad. But as far as I could tell, Yellen had like a decent record. She wasn't, she wasn't like a bombastic, like flame-throwing, champion of the people or whatever, right? But there wasn't anything in her record that I saw that made me go like, wow, this is a terrible person, like some of the others, like
until you started doing some research.
Well, this is the only thing that I've seen actually, and it just came up, and so maybe you've got some other stuff. But some of in her income filing, like some of the filings that have been made public for her nomination, she has received $7.4 million in speaking fees in the year 2019 and 2020 for speaking to banks and big tech companies.
Yeah, Goldman Sachs, the whole gamut.
Yeah. And I saw just a lot of like blue MAGA people, just like people who are totally divorced from reality, but they just wear a blue hat instead of a red hat, going on about how, ooh, yes, queen, you get your paycheck and you earn a living, and that's what, and people criticizing you, that's sexism, and you should be able to make money. And it's like, what? Banks don't, like Goldman Sachs is not going to pay Janet Yellen millions of dollars to speak at their events just because she's interesting for no reason. That doesn't happen. People don't do that. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, well, what they do is they buy politicians.
Yeah, and so the question then is, and I don't have the answer to this, and I haven't seen the answer to this, but the question is, why were they paying her millions of dollars just to speak in front of them? Just because, look, I don't know how many of y'all have heard Janet Yellen speak. I mean, she's not like this amazing orator. She's like, it looks just like a sweet old lady kind of thing. And like, she's just not that interesting.
Yeah.
So there had to have been something else. And it's like, like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, going out and getting millions of dollars for these speeches. Like, they're not doing that just because they think that, Hillary Clinton is a feminist icon, right? There are reasons for it. And it's an investment. Yeah. And they're hoping that they can make good on the investment. And,
they're hedging their bets. They're hedging their bets.
Yeah. So, we got to be like weary of stuff like this. It's not okay. It's not okay to be governed by people that are being bought and paid for by the architects of the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm hesitant to go down this path because of the reactionaries out there. And this whole QAnon, deep state, you know, a lot of this stuff that's out there on the internet, and a lot of the stuff that's talked about on a lot of the major right-wing talk radio stations is pure propaganda. But there is some truth. I mean, with everything that's said, there's always some truth to that. And there's a lot of truth to this deep state that they talk about. But the problem is their narrative is Trump is fighting the deep state, which we both know is absolute insanity. Right. It's asinine talk. He is part of the deep state. He's part of the same grifters that's always grift off to the government. He as much said so during the presidential debates in 16. I bought y'all.
Yeah.
And nothing's changed.
Yeah.
But this whole idea from Democrats or from liberals, mainly neoliberals, is the fact that they think that getting somebody with a D next to their name is going to help the working class at all. And the fact is, these are elite. These are elitists. They've always been elitists. They're grifters. They figure out a way to funnel money to corporate donors. And you know, a perfect example is this latest defense bill that got passed. I mean, that is one of the things that you know, I know Trump was trying to throw a wrench into the cog here, but what he was saying had some good perspectives to it. We shouldn't be giving money to corporate entities, and we shouldn't be giving money to other countries. I mean, there in some cases there's some benefit to that, but it's very rare. So yeah, this whole idea that Joe Biden's going to come in and save us is it's insanity. It's insanity. But it's also, on the other side, it's just as insane to think that Trump or Mitch McConnell or Tommy Tuberville is going to come in and save us. Look, folks, this is the same thing we've been preaching from day one, is these politicians, I don't care who they are in the pocket of big business interests. The only way we're ever going to survive is to come together as a working class, as an entire working class, and start pushing back on a lot of this stuff. There's no, as many times as the administration has changed, and I've said it 100 times, as many times as administration has changed over my lifetime, nothing really has ever changed for me. Right. You know, they talk about the tax credits. Oh, Trump gave us tax credits. Even you got some tax credits. Well, 2021's coming. The tax credits sunset in 2021 for us. For us, not for the billionaires. They made sure that those stayed in place until somebody repeals them. But for us, they go away this year.
Right. And, you know, one of the things, like, I think it was Jim Acosta said that he is not going to have as, you know, his attitude is going to change with the new administration. He's going to be less confrontational. And, you know, I think that you can expect that will not be the case from us. And I think that's important. I think that we've got to hold people in both parties to account when they try to screw us over. Folks, you're listening to the Valley Labor Report. We're going to bring Dan from Madison on the line after the break.
You're listening to the Valley Labor Report with David Story and Jacob Morrison.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. We appreciate your time. If you want to see what we're up to throughout the week, get our snide quips about the news of the day, then you should follow us on social media. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/The Valley Labor Report. We're on Twitter at Labor Reporters. I'm on Twitter at JacobM_AL. David is on Twitter at Radical Unionist. That's spelled RADICL Unionist. If you missed part of the show and want to go back and watch it later, you can search YouTube for The Valley Labor Report and subscribe to our channel. You can go back and watch the full show there, and we also clip segments to release throughout the week. So if you don't want to watch the whole show, but maybe one of the conversations that we had seemed interesting to you, you'll be able to see just that conversation that way. We also upload the program on more than 11 different podcasting apps. So, to see if we are on your listening platform of choice, go to thevalleylaborreport.transistor.fm/subscribe, and we have a website, thevalleylaborreport.org. You can check out our work there. And finally, if you appreciate our work and want to help us stay on the air, consider throwing us a couple dollars a month on patreon.com/The Valley Labor Report.